What is going on, YouTube? This is Jim back with another video, and today we're taking a look at this bad boy right here. This is the Steam Link. Now, none of my friends have one of these, but I'll tell you what I believe it is, and most importantly, why I bought it. We'll start with the easy question first. I bought it because it was on sale, and Steam actually was doing some kind of promotion. Maybe it's a fire sale on getting rid of some of the old stuff. I'm not entirely sure, but they had this and another game with shipping. I want to say it was like 13 bucks. So I'm like, geez, for $13, I'm sure I'll get my money's worth. So I figured, what better way than take a look at it together than with you guys, and let's do a quick unboxing on it, and let's see if it's really all that we think it is. And more importantly, let's take a look at it and how to set it up. Because when I looked online for stuff on like what the Steam Link was, I wasn't really finding a ton of stuff. And I talked to my friends about it, who are all computer gamers. I'm the only one of the group that actually still plays primarily console games, and they were all like, wait, what does it do? So it is basically a way to extend your computer desktop to, or your Steam desktop to any TV networked on the house. So I believe this is just going to be like a little, kind of like a KVM, if you're familiar with a virtual keyboard video mouse, where it can control multiple things. It's kind of like that. All the processing is still going to be done on your CPU, but as long as your CPU is networked to anywhere in the house, you can plug this device in and get it to work. Now, Steam has a very bad reputation when it comes to hardware. The Steam controller, in my opinion, is garbage. The Steam box idea, which was really cool in concept, never really took off. So I might be getting into it really bad here with the Steam Link, but we'll go ahead and take a look at it together. So when you open up the box, this is what you get. It's pretty cool looking. It's just a flat Steam Link box. This is actually all it is. Now, it's got the Steam logo on the front. On the side, it has a USB cable. And on the back, it has two more USB cables, an HDMI port, a network cable, and what I assume is going to be a power brick of some sort. So this has plenty of ways to plug in your peripherals. Now, I won't be using this in a network extended mode for real shooters, like with a keyboard and mouse. Instead, I'm going to be plugging in my Xbox One Elite controller or my DualShock 4 controller into one of these USB ports, and I'll be playing, I'll leave it up here upstairs on the network, and I'll play probably more simple games, maybe Ghost Recon, but like on single player, or Mount Your Friends, or Paint the Town Red, kind of like simple stuff like that. Inside the box, there's also a quick start guide, and then another box, which I assume is all of the goodies. Now, boy, these guys really love their, you know, that clear circular tape that like you have to break the seal to open it? They went nutso with this stuff. That's the reason I'm kind of talking so much, is off camera here. I'm trying to peel this stuff down. So this is definitely pretty secure. They don't want anybody just poking on in and seeing what's inside. They want you to actually, you know, commit to that you're going to own this thing, because this is like the fifth one of these little circle things I've had to break through. So inside you get a pretty neat looking little box that has all these different ports. So we'll go ahead and pull all these out. So this looks like, oh, this is very interesting. Different types of prongs. I don't know what this is. I don't know where you would use this at. All these different countries. What is this? This is a different one type of connector. Okay. You have these two dots. That's a different type of connector. And then you have this one. So I guess they assumed that this was going to be for international, I guess. I don't know. I still haven't seen one that we would use in North America, but we're still up. It's inside. We're still working our way through. And then also inside is a nice box with all the cables all wrapped up nice and pretty. There you go. A little video of that. And let's go ahead and pull all these out and take a look together and see what we have. We have, among other things, the main power brick, which has the standard... Oh my goodness. They really like forcing you to work through all this cardboard here. My goodness. You have your standard power brick. This is, if you live here in the good old North America, US of A, this is what you're going to use to plug in. That one works a lot better. And then you have the other end is a connector port. Oh, my camera just glitched out. Here, real quick, in case that didn't come out okay. Here in the good old US of A, you have one of these bad boys right here. Now, if you had any of these other adapters, you would plug them in somehow, I guess. But I don't know. I don't know how many people are watching this to see international viewing of the Steam box. You have a flat cat cable, which is really nice because you're going to need to plug that in. And you also have a long HDMI cable to plug into your device. And I believe that's all there is to it. So pretty simple in terms of unboxing. No frills, but there doesn't have to be. I think it does the job. Also inside, there's a quick start guide and a Link product guide. I'm going to go ahead and do some jump cuts now, and we'll jump around probably on my cell phone at this point because I'm not going to set up any video capture software for you guys just yet. And we'll take a look at how this actually integrates into your home network. So with that, I will be right back. Okay, we went ahead and we just plugged in the Steam Link. There it is right there. Connectors in the back are super easy. I have a network cable that I plugged in. I have the HDMI cable that plugs into my television, and then I have a power cable that plugs into the wall. As soon as I turn it on, this is the first thing that I get. It pops up and it says Steam Link Update. Downloading update 1 of 1. So it must be connecting to the network somehow and going through its updates. And we'll see what happens after this. It's going to restart now. I looked through the quick start guide, by the way, and I was really surprised because, look at, oh, you see those gym shorts? Man, sexy. I was really surprised because I didn't see much in the way of installation. As a matter of fact, the quick start guide was literally just like a little cardboard cutout that said, plug it into your network and basically the rest will happen. So I'm assuming at some point I have to go downstairs and say, hey, I have a computer that is using Steam, look for it here, maybe configure the IP, maybe configure the, Elite controller or whatever. I'm not really sure, we'll see. It's still going through its power cycle now. You see my TV flickering a few times, and yet another update. So there must be quite a few updates going on here. Now, I did notice after the second update, I do have a mouse cursor up here. I don't have a mouse up here quite yet. So you're going to see quite a few of jump cuts coming on, but I'll go ahead and stop it now. And as soon as I see something useful, I will come back and let you know. Anyways, it prompted me to plug in a controller, which I did. Here is my DualShock 4 plugged in just by a good old USB connection. And it prompted me to select my language, which I did was English. And now we're going to proceed. It recognized that I have a 42-inch TV running at 1920 by 1080 at 60 hertz, which is pretty cool. I assume if I was using my nicer TV, maybe the resolution could be a little bit better. But for now, just proof of concept, I have it on the smaller TV here. And it says, select a computer. Now, the name of my home computer is Galactica. So it did find that Galactica is up and running on the network. So I'm going to go ahead and hit select. So I went ahead and picked it. And now it wants me to go to the computer and sync it with this pin, 6.3 and 8.3. And we're going to go ahead and run downstairs and do a jump cut, and we'll be right back. Okay, we are back. The creepy thing is my home computer was on, but Steam was not. So 6383, that's the password to authenticate. We're gonna hit OK. And Steam needs to update a new audio driver, which may require system reboot. Click here to install. So I'm going to hit OK here. And it looks like it's going to do some updates now on my computer side, I guess, to push some sort of patch over to the Steam box. So when that is done, we'll be back once again. Okay, we are back upstairs once again. As you can see now, I installed the audio drivers on my home computer. And it popped up and it said, okay, here you go. It does see the Galactica is ready to go. I do see some settings here. I'm curious just really quickly to see what they are. Audio settings, Bluetooth, controller, language, display, network. Okay. Looks like it has a streaming capability too. That's kind of interesting. We're just going to go ahead and hit start playing. I was just kind of curious to see what it would do. It says Galactica is ready. I hit yes, and now it's going to connect to Galactica, and here we go. Now, this is definitely my online account, Jassafat, and you see across the top, I guess these are what, notifications and downloads and general system settings, and then you have library, community, chat, store. We'll go ahead and hit library because, that's what we have. And there you can see all the different games I have installed, all the products that I was playing. So we're going to go ahead and just try Ghost Recon because that is pretty not network intensive. And I get a prompt right here that says, This game wasn't designed for controllers, which is a lie, but you can play it with your Steam controller. The game may show keyboard hints during gameplay. Well, I'm assuming that must be some sort of boilerplate thing because I've played almost exclusively with my Xbox One Elite controller. Again, I am using the DualShock 4. It gives me one more notification to say, hey, just so you know, it does require a controller, and that's okay. So it looks like it's prompting the launch to open, and we'll see what happens. Now, a lot of these games, and this is no different, actually runs off of multiple clients. So what happens, like on this Steam game, is you open it, then it opens Uplay, and then it opens the game. So I'm curious in situations like that if the Steam Link has some sort of issue running it, because it seems like it's like a nested thing. I did see my desktop pop up very, very briefly, and it looks like it's opening now. This is a really pixelized picture of the loading screen. Typically, it's a much smaller screen in the center, but this part looks pretty normal. So, all right, the moment of truth. Here we are in game. I am sitting upstairs using my Steam Link. I'm recording all the video using my Elgato HD60 capture card, so everything that I am seeing, you are seeing. I'm looking and telling you guys right now there is no input lag, and that was something I was very concerned about when I was thinking about how a game would run off the network. Now, the sound sounds just like it does in game. I don't hear any kind of weird sound effects. That sounds very good. But I do notice that occasionally you're seeing slight hiccuping and slight stuttering on the gameplay. And you're also maybe noticing some of the pixelization effects in the background. Now, when I play this game downstairs on my home computer, I'm able to run it at a solid 60 frames per second, and there are no hiccups. I did have to compromise some of the lighting effects and shadow quality and that sort of thing. But what you're seeing here is not a result of my computer not being able to process the game. What you're seeing is what happens when you take video and process it on a separate computer and bring it over across the network to a different computer, or a different device in this case, kind of what it looks like and how it handles. Now, the reason I wanted to get in a car and drive, and this is, by the way, how I drive normally, so like a madman, is I wanted to see how it handles when a lot of data is coming at it quickly. You know, it's very easy in these comparisons. You'll see a screenshot that the movement, you know, there's nothing happening. It's just like a still footage shot. I didn't want that. What I wanted was actual in-game footage. This is as fast as Ghost Recon can go in terms of throwing visual at you. And the network does seem to be holding up okay. You are probably noticing minor stuttering here and there, but it's not anything that is completely, you know, broken and unplayable. And yes, I can see, especially in the horizon, you can start to see some of those pixelization lines where things aren't quite as crisp as they should be, or you're noticing in instances where you can almost see that kind of screen door effect over everything where the video is being processed and kind of how it handles. But from a gameplay perspective, this isn't bad. Now, I think for the true definitive experience, you're going to want to sit in front of your computer, even if you're still using a controller like I do, for even more crisp visual, because you're not getting that you know, scrub of your visual processing. But in terms of functionality, this is an absolute home run, and I really, really like it. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and do a pause here, and we're going to jump over into some Doom gameplay, and we'll see what Doom looks like. So here we go. Alright, here we are checking out Doom. Now, Doom does run at a very high frame rate. I think my Doom on computer runs about 100, 115 frames a second. So Doom is an extremely smooth picture, and that's the gameplay experience that they want you to have. So just looking around in the elevator here, you know, wiggling the right thumbstick up, down, left, right as fast as I can, looks pretty good. It definitely has a very smooth kind of feel to it. It doesn't feel laggy or any kind of latency, anything like that, which is good. I think this would be a really good example of what happens in a game where you would experience some input lag or some visual lag here, because there's so much happening on this game, and it's a really good benchmark of those over-the-top action crazy games. playing through everything now, it feels great. I'm not particularly sure of the controls because I normally do play this one on keyboard and mouse, but seems to be working okay. Don't see any issues with this. So I would have to say that if you can play a game like Doom, which is, you know, balls to the wall, very high frame rate, very responsive, lots of action going on, and it looks decent enough like this, I would be safe to say pretty much any game you pick up would look just as good as this. So for that, I have to say the Steam Link is an absolute home run. Let me do one more quick jump cut, and I want to show you guys a little bit of the operating system and kind of the behind the scenes. So let's go ahead and take a look at that right now. First, let me cut that guy's head off. Okay, let's go look at that right now. Alright, you'll have to excuse me a little bit because I'm clicking around like a banshee because I'm not really entirely sure what how this interface works. But I can tell you guys that from a usability standpoint, this is great. On the center of the PlayStation DualShock 4 controller, there is the PlayStation button. I press that, and that's what brings me back to the main home menu. I'm sure it works the same way with an Xbox One Elite controller or any other gamepad you have. There is a home button that will jump you back. I'm navigating in the store. Here you can see I can buy games, I can explore games. The in-game trailers work just fine as if you were sitting in front of your home computer. It has options to adjust all your different settings, your disk management, so if you want to change your background volume, if you want to appear online or offline to your friends, if you want to play background music, that's something actually, if it's connected in, it'll actually play background music for you. Now this does happen normally in Steam, but it's nice to see that it did carry over on the Steam Link. So they took as many comforts as they could and they brought them over for utilization on the Steam Link, and I think that is really, really impressive. Now, one thing that I did notice when I was kind of playing around with this a few minutes ago, and I'll try to get back to it here in a second, is browsing the web isn't as convenient as it should be when you're using a simple controller. It's very hard to navigate through web pages because, you know, Steam does take a lot of gameplay footage, and they interlace the web rather. So like quick start guides and videos and such are interlaid into Steam via web page. Normally you'd hit like Shift Tab or something on your Steam to bring up that overlay. Here you're trying to bring up the overlay in the game, and with the controller it does have a little bit of an issue doing it. But once I figure out that it's the right trigger that actually sends a letter and not the X button as I'm hitting over and over, I'll send my boy Kevin a very laborious hello note. By the way, on this typing thing, for whatever reason, the left analog stick controls the left part of the screen and the right analog stick controls the right part of the screen. But messaging does work. You saw groups in there, notification, voice over IP, streaming, it's all here. Highly impressed with this. Hope you guys learned something with this video, kind of how it works, how to use it, and there you have it.